So, yeah, you saw the first part there. I didn't have my paperwork in front of me, so I was kind of lost. So we're going to do a different type of video today. And Mike Farless, by the way, Casey Trench, you see I'm sporting the Jersey-style shirt. So this is new, something I've not done before, and I really don't think that really anybody's done this. Not that I really pay attention to. I'm sure maybe other channels in different genres of videos, but I don't know anybody of the tarantula community that has done anything like this. So this is going to be a subscriber-specific video. Everything that you hear in this video was all done by one subscriber, and you're going to get a holiday remix of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Again, I really wanted to do this video prior to Christmas. I did not have an opportunity, so it kind of loses its luster a little bit, but hey, Christmas can be all year long, can it be? So I'm going to read this here, and then I'm going to pause, and then we're going to do a Q&A. And so the questions were sent to me by Goldie 4041. All of you that do YouTube videos, tarantula videos anyway, are going to know her, because she comments on so many videos. She's such a nice person. Very positive, always very, very positive, and very upbeat, very easy to talk to, have a conversation with. She lives in Pennsylvania, so do I, so it kind of has that little bit of draw. My tag sticking up, I can't stand that. But she lives on the eastern part of Pennsylvania. There's nothing really good that comes out of the eastern part of Pennsylvania. All the cool stuff is up here in the northwest corner of Pennsylvania. The part that was taken from New York to give to Pennsylvania so that they had access to the waterway. So, yeah, all the cool people live on this side. And I'm not talking about you guys down there in Pittsburgh, because I don't even know about you people down there. You don't talk right. Yeah, well, we don't talk right up here either. I'm only kidding, really. I mean, I love Pennsylvania. No, I really don't. There's so much goofy stuff that goes on in the state because we're a commonwealth, and it's just weird, you know, some of the stupid stuff that happens here. But anyway, let's get to the meat of this whole thing, right? So we're going to do this, which was the night before Christmas. And I'll explain this to you. She wrote this, okay? So she took time out of her day, however long it took her to write this, to the theme of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. But it's done with basically different YouTube channels in here. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope that all of you guys that are in here, the YouTube channels that are in here, enjoy this too. I will be sure to put this on the Tarantula YouTube community Facebook group so that everybody has an opportunity to hear the poem and see if they made the cut. But yeah, there's quite a few, and then I'll let everybody know who is actually all in here and what their channels are so that you know. So here we go. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I'm going to add this part, Tarantula community style. 'Twas the night before Christmas in our community, all tucked in tightly, from wee man to Shawnee. Tarantulas are fed, scorpions in their hides, all centipedes calm, tucked deep down inside. The wizard sprang up as he felt its presence near. Would it be, could it be, the magic of holiday cheer? To his computer he leapt like a brisk winter's wind, going live hoping someone still logged in. Adam relieved as he found they're all there. Having felt a gentle nudge, they felt the magic in the air. There was Mark, there was Martin from deep within the cave. Hey Dave, hey Vic, hey Dan from the UK. Petco appearing from his Croatian dark den. Hey look, there's Cat, even Australia's went in. Adam shouted out to a certain one missing. Alex, exclaimed Alan. Should this be concerning? Scarlet squealed and Sam let out a holler as magic and peace were left in the aftermath of the scholar. The Barian's grin wide. Wee man on his lap, his face lights up with glee as he begins to clap. I knew it, thought the wizard. Alex is the Santa. He heard the old elf say, Merry Christmas to all, and Happy New Year to you. The last time I read this, I screwed up that New Year part 2, so I can't get that right no matter what I do. So let me go through here, and I found that, and I hope that you take this all in all good fun, both Adam and Tracy, that there is an unhealthy obsession with Adam in this poem here. Let's see how many times Adam was mentioned. Well, we start with the wee man, so you have to add Adam in there. So there's one. And we go down to the third paragraph, or stanza, right? Is that what it's called? Stanza. There's Adam again, so that's 2. Then we go down to the fourth one, and we got the Barian and Wee Man again. So that's 4 times, Tracy. 4 times. He's a married man. Just kidding. So let's see who all's in here. Of course, Adam from the Inverted Barian. Shanti with Tarantulas from Shanti. Or with Shanti, sorry. Tarantulas with Shanti. Then we go down to Adam again. And then Mark from Mark's Tarantulas. Martin from the Tarantula Cave. Myself, Vic from Spidey V. Dan, the Tarantula Dan. Petco from the Dark Den. Cat from Tarantula Cat. Winton from Winton Knight, young Australian lad. I think he's around 14. Maybe I'm a little bit off on that age, but what a wonderful kid he is. The relationship he has with his dad, even though you don't really see it, you can see it. You know what I mean? I see it the same way with Adam and his son, in a different way, because you get to see that joy and that fun and that laughter of the little guy. Where Winton, you can see his dad's influence in him, in his just demeanor. The whole entire demeanor of him is a joy to watch. I know a lot of people say this, but it reminds me so much of what, you know, the Crocodile Hunter would have gone through with Steve Irwin, and you know how his son and daughter have grown up now. It's a joy watching those two on the new show, Crikey's. It's the Irwins. I watch it all the time. It's a lot of fun. So let's go. Who else did we get here? Okay. Alex would be from Tarantula Haven. Alan is the Spider-Man. Scarlet is the Black Widow. Let's see, we have an Avengers theme going on here too. Sam is Bug Realm. And then we have Adam and the Wee Man again, and then Alex in the end from Tarantula Haven again. So again, it was just a wonderful thing. She sent this to me specifically. She said, do with it what you want. It's yours. So I decided to share it with everybody because I think it needed to be shared. And it was screaming over here on my table, share me, share me, share me. So we did. So we're going to pause now so I don't go over my 15-minute limit with the video all in one clip. And I'll do the Q&A next. Okay, so 15 questions. Some of these are going to be real easy and quick to answer. The first one's going to be the hardest one, actually. The longest one, because it's actually a tarantula-specific kind of question. And that is, how do you differentiate between tarantula stages of life, specifically between juvenile and subadult? Is it determined by size or age? The last part of that question, is it determined by size or age? Yes and no. Age really can't be a factor because tarantulas mature at different times in their life. Sometimes when you get them, you have no idea how old they are, so you really can't use age as a factor. I don't use age as a factor in anything unless I've had them from the little tiny size. And you can raise them from that size till they get to that size, or even that size, or even that size. That size here is over-exaggerating, by the way. I use this, and I tell this to, on the tarantula community group. I say this a lot of times, and this is the question that's been answered many times, and I did a quick write-up on it. This is not a scientific fact, and it's not anything that you could say, this is 100% the way to do it, but it makes it easier for you to use as a guideline. If you take 100% of an adult size, whatever tarantula species that you have in your hand, we're going to go with the ground stole poker piece because that's the one that you now have. We're going to say roughly on average an 8-inch female. So take 25% of that size, which is 2 inches, and that's your sling size, all the way up to 2 inch. Take the next 25% to 50%. That's the age that you would call juvenile, or when they start hanging the lewd pictures and posters on the wall, and they may now and then smoke a joint, or maybe have a beer that they're not supposed to. They start to rebel. They want to drive. They want to take all your money. That's the juvenile stage. The next stage up would be what you would call a subadult, or an immature male or female. I think that's a better way to really say it. Is you've sexed the tarantula already now. As a juvenile at 50% of the size, you should have had it sexed by now. And you're going to say, well, now I have an immature female, immature male, which means that they're not sexually mature, but we know what they are. So I go up to like 75% of adult size to that factor. Now again, this can vary with smaller spiders like dwarf spiders, and males, of course, are going to change because some males only live for a couple years. I've had a male that I got as a 1/2-inch sling Hapalopus species Columbia large, and within 14 months it was a mature male. So, you know, you just, that's where you can't say age, because 14 months is a very quick time. And then, of course, anything over 75% to a normal adult size should be a sexually mature spider. So that's what you would call an adult. Even though, you know, we call people that are 18 years old adults. I think there's some of us that are 49 years old going on 50 that still aren't adults yet. Not naming any names of myself, but just ask my wife, she'll tell you. So number 2, if I could play mad scientist, what tarantula would you combine with what animal to make the ideal tea? And what would those animals be? Of course, you got to take 2 to put them together. And what would you name it? Well, I don't want to really mix a whole bunch of different animals into one. I'm pretty plain kind of a guy. You know, I don't like ketchup or mustard or mayonnaise or stuff like that. I'm pretty plain. So I would take one of my favorite animals, which would be a tiger, and mix it with a Grammostola pulchra and call it the Grammostola tigris, because you already have a black spider. Now you're adding the white and the orange with it. I think that would be kind of cool. Just imagine that right now. I think people are liking it. Number 3, any bad habits that I wish to break. It's not really a bad habit. Well, it is kind of a bad habit. It's drinking pop. You know, I'm a Dr. Pepper fan, and at my age right now, my body doesn't process that stuff like it used to. So cutting pop out and drinking water, which I've done now for the last week, it's gonna help a little bit. You know, hopefully I can shed 10 or 15 pounds and be a little bit happier. Let's see. Number 4, to add to a certain previous question and answer, toilet paper, over or under? It's over. All the time. There's no question about it. It has to be over, because you're working with gravity, first of all, and you're working with the weight of the mechanism pulling it instead of trying to pull underneath. And second of all, if you go online and you look up the copyright for toilet paper, there's a drawing there. It shows it on the reel, and it shows the arrows going over the top and down. So that's the way you have to do it. That's it. There's no questions asked. If anybody does it under, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Let's see, number 5. Best life advice I ever received is pretty simple, and this is the same advice that I've given to all my children. It's just a game. You lose, you still wake up the next day, and you get to do it all over again. So there's no sense of crying and carrying on because you didn't win, because life does not let you win most of the time. So, you know, my kids have been pretty fortunate on some of the teams that they've played on, that they've had a lot of talent in this area. So they've done a lot of winning. So when Alex got to college and they did a lot of losing, it was a little bit difficult for him to grasp that. But we prepared them well enough that he could go and pitch on the mound and have a very, very bad day and wake up and then have to pitch the next day and do it all over again and forget about what happened yesterday. You know, I taught him that it's one pitch at a time, and you can't take the pitch back that you just threw. You can't change the fact that your shortstop created an error. All you could do is throw the next pitch. That's really the best advice that you could give to anybody, is that no matter what mistakes you make in a day, they're only mistakes if they can't be corrected. They're only mistakes if you don't learn from them. They're only mistakes if you repetitively repeat them. So learning from what you do wrong during the day makes you a better person the next day. Number 6, undiscovered talent. Well, I'm 49 years old, and I don't really have a lot of talents, really, to be honest with you. I can't sing. I can write a little bit. I'm actually not bad at writing. I used to write a lot of lyrics when I was young, because you know, the music I used to listen to back in my teenage years. I used to go home and just write songs, and of course I have no idea how to write music, so I just wrote lyrics. But I can't play any kind of musical instrument. I was really good at playing hockey and really good at playing baseball, but those were discovered talents. So undiscovered, I don't know. Maybe something will pop out in the next year that I didn't know I could do. Maybe I could walk on my hands, or maybe I could float. That would be kind of fun, just to be able to float. So, number 7. Other than tarantulas, what other hobbies do I have? 0. I don't have any. I don't have time for other hobbies. I don't hunt anymore because of my back. I don't want to get hurt in the woods and then not be able to work. And fishing. When I was off work, I did a lot of fishing. A couple of years back, did a lot of bass fishing. But I just don't have time for it anymore. You know, it's this and the kids doing their stuff, and you know now the twins are getting ready to go to college, so we'll have Eric running cross country and track all year for the next 4 years at Edinburgh, and Alex has this year and next year left of baseball at Pitt Bradford. So once that's all done, I don't know what Linda and I are going to do really, because it's been sports since Alex was 9 years old. Well, actually 8 years old. So for the last 12 years, it's been sports all the time, all year, something or another, basketball, soccer. He played football for a year. Eric played baseball. Haley plays softball. And it's cross country and track, and it's just been everything. So, you know, those were really my only other hobbies was my kids, and being able to watch them. Now we have the grandkids coming up, so maybe we'll be able to go see some of their stuff. Number 8, favorite music. It's not really hard. You've seen the shirts, my AC/DC shirt, Metallica. I was an 80s metal kid. Grew up on Metal Blade Records. Everything that came out on there, I got my hands on. You know, weird stuff like Tokyo Blade and Annihilator. You know, there's just a bunch of stuff back at Saigon Kick. Just all kinds of different stuff back in the day. I still listen to a lot of that stuff today, but I'm more geared to today's rock. I call it today's rock or today's metal, like Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch and Breaking Benjamin, Godsmack. Those are the bands I like to listen to now. One of my favorite bands was Live. It was a group, maybe Tracy might even know. They were from York, Pennsylvania. I just loved their stuff, and then they got kind of weird, and then they broke up. But loved some of their songs, like the Dolphin Cries. What else their first album had a bunch of songs that were really, really good. Second album was really good, but that was one of my favorites. But Queensryche's my all-time favorite band, and Fade to Black from Metallica is my favorite all-time song. Movie, Tombstone with Kurt Russell. There was a lot of crazy characters in that show, and I watch it every time it's on. I was a big fan of Doc Holliday, so I think that Val Kilmer did a wonderful job with his role as Doc Holliday in that, and the guy that played Johnny Ringo also was another one. And the guy that played Curly Bill just died not too long ago. I can't remember his name. He's been in some different movies. Wonderful actors in that movie. I just always loved it. And Young Guns were another favorite of mine as well. If I could go back in time to change or relive one experience, where and when would I go? I would be back to trout fishing with my grandfather. I had so much fun because it was just him and I, you know, out in, you know, Titusville and Brook and Straw, Pennsylvania, just fishing in creeks that probably didn't have trout left in them because, you know, it was late in the season, but I'd always get to see snakes and all kinds of different bugs and just enjoy the time being out away. You know, we get up real early in the morning, we pack some lunch, and, you know, there's about an hour and a half's drive to Brook and Straw, and, you know, we get out, cold morning, and we go down to the creek and do our fishing, and then I'd get bored because I wasn't catching anything, and I'd want to go back to the car. And the one year we went, this is at Brook and Straw Creek, in Garland, Pennsylvania, I believe was the town. There's a bridge that went over the creek, and it went down, so you had a slope that went down. Well, it was early afternoon, and I didn't want to fish anymore, and I was walking up to the car to go get a snack, and where we were walking, there was just baby snakes everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. They had probably just come out from hibernation. They were everywhere. They were probably just regular garter snakes. Nothing more, nothing less. But I was so into reptiles and animals back then that I dumped all my lunch into the back of the trunk of the car, and I was filling my bag with snakes. And my grandfather came up to eat, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not doing anything." And he's like, "What do you have in their bag?" So I showed him. He said, "You can't take those. Those are baby rattlesnakes. The mom will come and look for you." Well, I was scared then, you know, because I didn't want mom rattlesnake to come and bite me in my bed. I was just a young kid. So I put them all back. But there were hundreds upon hundreds of them. So I think that day would probably be where I would go. So I could bring some of the snakes home and find out if they actually were rattlesnakes or not. My favorite sound is the middle of the woods. Very, very quiet. No wind, with a small little stream where I could just sit on a rock and watch what's going on around me. We used to do it a lot here, but we don't do it much anymore because we now have coyotes around a lot here, and there's a couple bears in the area. So generally don't go in the woods by myself. If I do go to be with the kids and we're trying to find isopods and stuff like that, or different kinds of pieces of wood for the spiders. But I didn't go at all last year because of my ankle. So my daughter and I will get out this year and we'll go isopod hunting, and we'll catch those little tiny millipedes and a bunch of the little, house centipedes, or the red centipedes they call them, wood centipedes I think they are. And we'll make a big bioactive this year. That's my plans for this summer. Favorite smell is the smell of freshly installed, I guess you could call it, or pressed or laid asphalt. It's the petroleum in it, the smell of that oil, with the same with gasoline. I like the smell of it. Number 12, another tarantula specific question. Best beginner arboreal tarantula. It's an avicularia. It's always going to be an avicularia. There really isn't any more of a calmer, easier laid back going tarantula that's an arboreal than an avicularia species. Whether it's an avic or avic morph type 6, a metallica, or the Marianae or the urinensis. There's a whole bunch of them. They're just really, really cool. They're nice. They're coolest things. They're a little bit more difficult to take care of, but I think it's because people are still confused on what to do with them. And, do we mist them? Do we have a lot of ventilation? No ventilation? A lot of moisture, the humidity levels. It's just crazy, but definitely avicularia. Dwarf arboreal tea. Yes, there are dwarf arboreal teas. There's the Tapaniquinius violaceus, which is, I think, about a 3-inch, about 3-inch female. And then you have the T. celedonia. All this time that spider's been around, I don't even know how to pronounce the first name. I've never actually tried to pronounce it because I knew I could never get one, and I really never wanted one. So I never really worked on saying it because I didn't really have a need to. So I always just say T. celedonia. So those two would be the ones that I would know off the top of my head. There might be more on the Tapaniquinius genus, but I don't know what they are, or even Pseudoclimaris. I'm not really quite sure if there are any more other than those two that I know for sure. What other pets do I have other than the ones that we know of? Well, let's just go over them all. 127 tarantulas. 3 are going away, so that takes me down to 124. There's at least 3 coming back, plus I don't know there's going to be more, so I'm going to say maybe 3 more. So we're going to say we'll be at like 130. And then there's about 12 to 15 assassin bugs. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scorpions now. The 1 vinegaroon. We have the 3 leopard geckos. We have 3 male rats. We have 1 female parakeet. We have 1 male Russian tortoise. 1 unsexed, I don't even know how to sex them, but an axolotl. My daughter bought at one of the expos here in Eerie. Our cat, Ted, he's roughly, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old. He's black and white. I found him in Meadville when I was working on a job. And he was sitting up on the axle of the guy I was driving back and forth with, up on the axle of his van. I took the little kitten out, I put it off the side, and he crawled right back underneath there. So I was like, I can't leave him out here, so we took him home. We made a couple posters, put him up down there, and no one ever claimed him. So I wanted to name him Axel because I thought that was a cool name. But my twins were only like 2 or 3 years old. So imagine a 2 or 3-year-old pronouncing Axel and what it actually came out as. So my wife named him Oreo, and I never ever once called him Oreo because I thought that was stupid. It was just too cliche. So I just called him Ted. So after a couple years, everyone called him Ted. So that's who it is, Ted. And then we have Bailey, our 5-year-old mix German Shepherd Alaskan Husky. Now, she looks like a German Shepherd with a husky eye, husky coat, and a husky tail, but all the German Shepherd colors. German Shepherd ears and the German Shepherd snout and head. Left eye's blue, right? Left eye's blue, and the other one's regular brown. She's very, very, very loyal dog. She loves her dad, that's for sure. But she thinks that she's third in the pecking order here, so the tier for her in our pack would be me, my wife, then her, then Alex, maybe even Alex and her are kind of equal, and then the twins, and then everything else that comes in here. She's funny because, you know, I call her a day and night grazer, because she'll eat in the morning a little bit and then she'll leave it and then eat again at night, unless the grandkids come over. Once the grandkids come over, if there's food in her dish, she goes over and eats it all because she doesn't want them to steal it. So that's it for the other animals. My bucket list destination, I'll never go there because I would have to fly over an ocean, would be Egypt. I would love to go there. I would also love to go to Australia, but there's too many things that could kill me there. So I think Egypt would probably be where I'd want to go. And then, what is the meaning of life? Really, I don't know, just to survive, I guess, and try to be as happy as you possibly can be. I don't know if that's really a meaning or really a goal. I don't really think there is a meaning to life. I don't think that... I want to say that we all have a purpose here, but I never could figure out what my purpose is, and I don't think anybody else has that idea of what their purpose can be, other than, you know, being the best husband you can be, wife you can be, child you could be, father you could be, mother you could be, you know, go on and so forth, so forth. That's really it. You know, just the meaning of life is to live, you know, I guess to enjoy each day to its fullest. That's really what it is. And I used this quote when I did the eulogy for my grandmother, and it's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. And the quote goes, if I can remember this exactly, the paper's in my drawer, but I'm not going to get them. See if I can remember how it goes. It is not the amount of years in your life that matters. It's the amount of life in your years. So think about that, and while you ponder that, it's one of the, when I was looking for quotes for a eulogy and that one popped up, it was like, that explains my grandmother to a T. But think about that itself, and that's basically exactly what I said, is just to live each day the best that you can, get as much out of it as you possibly can. You're going to make mistakes every single day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to make mistakes every single day. But a mistake is only a mistake if it can't be corrected or it continues to get repeated. So try to learn from the mistakes that you make and not make those mistakes again, and grow from them every day. And be as good of a person as you can to as many people as you can. If you can make one person smile a day, I think that you had a good day. That's the way I feel. You know, I know there's certain friends of mine that have bad days, and you can almost tell, and I'll just say something stupid, and I know that it gets them to laugh, and then you can actually, then they'll start to talk, and you know, things loosen up a little bit, and they'll be like, oh, I really needed that. So if you can do that for somebody every single day, just make one person smile, even a little kid or an elderly person, or, you know, even letting somebody cross the street by stopping your car and saying, you know, please go ahead. Stuff like that, just nice gestures, will get you a long way in this life. And that's really it. I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this, Tracy. I hope all of you guys enjoyed this too. And it was fun doing this, actually. I don't particularly care to be in front of the camera, but I'm going to try and do it a little bit more. So stuff like this is a welcome. You know, these videos don't generally do as well as feeding videos or some of the other videos, but I think this one's going to be a fun one. I really do. So again, hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys all later, and happy gaming.